The ultrasonic cleaning is done. I ended up cleaning it 15 minutes. Checked it out. Just wiped down the parts a little bit and stuck it in for another 15 minutes. And you can see the difference in the two containers, eh? The tank, you can see the clear water with the soap there. Most of the suds have disappeared. This one here, you can see how dirty it is. Let me zoom you in and focus you. Alright, see how dirty that water is. So it did a very good job. Okay, and the parts, float that goes in the float bowl. Here's the float bowl. There we go. Oh, come on. Look at that. That's nice and clean. Did quite well. That's the bowl. And there are all the bits. I mean, it doesn't take tarnish off. You know, any oxidation, it won't take that up. But the intent is for it to clean, you know, all the bits of dirt and grease and stuff like that. There's the fixed jet. It's clean. And some nuts and bolts and the pin. There you go. All nicely done. There's the breather, air filter, connection plate. Spotless. The O-ring popped out. That's good. Carburetor. Look at that. Just nice and clean. Everything's free running. Tube, clean. Didn't get the gasket off. I'll take that off myself. I ended up throwing the gas cap in too. Why not? Clean all that up. All the parts are clean. A few more things down there. The gasket came off. And there we go. Now, when I was running the ultrasonic in the last part of this segment or so, I turned the ultrasonics on and I thought you could hear me, but you sure couldn't. The noise, the frequency, the sound from the unit just overshadowed my voice, so I'll just say what I was saying there again. The way an ultrasonic works is it creates cavitation. Cavitation is micro bubbles, micro explosions. So when this is running, it actually tries to compress the water because of the core 40 kilohertz frequency. And, well, you know, water's not compressible much, right? I said much. That doesn't mean it's not totally compressible. It's just very, very small amount. So it's compressing, and it compresses to a point, and then the bubble can't support that, or the water compressed can't support that, and it explodes. A little bubble, or micro explosions they call it, right? So that's how it works, and it bombards all the parts with those little micro bubbles and micro explosions, and that's how it cleans. I will turn it on. I'll focus the camera. I won't talk because I realize now you can't hear me, but I'll show you the way the water cavitates. Let's see if that'll work. Focus that in and turn it on. Okay, not sure if the camera shows that up, but you can just see the rippling across the water. And that's that. We'll swing you over to the parts. There they are there. So what I'll do next is I'll just blow them all dry. The ultrasonics, of course, loosen all the dirt and debris, but they'll just sit wherever they find a little pocket. So I'll blow them all dry, and then we'll start putting it together. Okay, back again. G-Man here. This carburetor build, the Tecumseth carburetor off my buddy's lawnmower is spilled over to a second. So now at this point, we're going to put her all back together. And like I said, we're going to use Hylamar as a gasket sealant instead of a gasket. So I've not used it before. They say it's really good. We're going to find out. So you're supposed to put it around, a film of it around the, you can do it straight out of the tube. I'm going to try with a popsicle stick right now. And come on, more comes out. There we go. Stuff looks good. But it looks can be deceiving, right? So I'm just going to lay a film there. I'm going to put it around everything. Like that. And a little bit more should do it. Maybe a bit much. A bit thick. That's okay, because the next part you'll see what we're supposed to do with it. Okay, and in the next part, what you're supposed to do with it is take your carburetor, or take your two mating surfaces, and make sure I do this right. Yep, that's right. And you're supposed to put them together. So I'm going to line up the holes best I can while I put it on. And that's that. So you put it on and you smear it around a little bit. So you move it around. So that's what I'll do. And then it's supposed to stick, which it does. Then you pull it off. You see it leaves a film on there. But I didn't get that little bit there. So I'll just throw some on there for the heck of it. You put that on there. And in my case, I'm going to clean up some of the excess around the actual throat hole. Like that. But you can see that's probably where the two surfaces didn't even mate. That should be good. Let's take a look at the other side. See that blue film all around it? And you can see, yeah, you can see there where the two bore holes didn't line up, which left some excess. But that should be okay. You're supposed to. It's a gas resistant. You're supposed to leave it for a few minutes. So that's what I'll do, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Alright then, a few minutes have passed by. The material, they say, should be just not very tacky, and it isn't, so that's what it is. Also, I think I mentioned it the first time, but this stuff is removable and reusable. So if you have to take this off, say in a month, you can take it off. It'll still be the same. It stays the way it is. It's flexible and doesn't cure, so they say, and put it back together. So we're just going to put it together and see what happens. Two little bolts there, and a washer, or a star or nut with a star washer on it, like that. One thing to mention too, can't do it with these ones because the star washers are integrated, but star washers only are intended to be used and reused maybe once or twice, that's it, because they're not like a lock washer, which is more spring steel or spring hardened. The stars flatten out and they don't have the bite that they had originally, and that means they're subject to loosening. So just a point to be made. I've dealt in the industry with what they call not nylock but trident, and there are threaded holes with deformed through holes with deformed threads at the end, and the bolt or screw is supposed to pass completely through that, and where's my little, the bolt passes completely through it and it deforms and opens up the thread a bit, but the initial installation, it locks down very well. So after the second time it doesn't lock down as well. And I have a real problem here. There. And the third time it really doesn't do much of anything. So star washers are very similar to that, in that they lose their bite after a bit. And there we go. That you could clean up, I guess. I will probably. But that's supposed to create a airtight seal and resistant to gas and oil. So what we'll do is we'll just put the rest of the bits together. We'll put the fixed jet in and put that in place, and we should be able to button this up. Yeah, I did some reading and there are fixed jet carburetors. Usually they're pretty simple devices, right? And that's good. I'll snug that up. Like so. And the float bowl, I'm waiting on a new gasket for it. I'm gonna try the Hylamar. I'll give it a go and I'll let you see what it looks like, but the way the float bowl goes on, I just don't think that that's gonna do the job. But I'm gonna try it and then I'll just let you know how it worked out. But I've got provisions coming for a new gasket for the float bowl. Put those in. That's air breather. And that should do it. So we'll finish this up when the float bowl gasket comes in, and then we'll just slip her back on. Okay, see you when that comes in.